With World of Warcraft currently being in a lull state, me and my friends decided to pick up a game that we used to play back in the day called Black Desert Online. These are my thoughts after 30 days as a new/returning player. Is it any good? And how is the pay to win that used to plague the game's reputation back in the day? Let's find out. So, my account is gone. But there's a sale on Steam for €1, so I rebought the game. But I still left a slightly sour taste in my mouth. But as you'll see throughout this video, this didn't really end up mattering in the long run. This new account has more playtime and I've progressed infinitely further anyway. So before we get into it, quick backstory. I used to play the game back in 2017 as a Kunitian tamer, but I quit around like level 56, 57. I then returned later in 2019 on shy release to play that in Witch because of a YouTuber called Anders making an account from scratch series that got recommended to me. But I still quit pretty early. I used some scrolls, got boosted to 60 and basically quit again. So I wouldn't necessarily call myself a new player, but also wouldn't call myself a veteran of the game. I'll be somewhere in between. But I did ask my friend if Sausage was a world boss, so I'm more on the new spectrum, I would say. We picked probably the best possible time to start the game back up. There's been an insane amount of quality of life updates to the game and catch-up systems. And for some reason there's also like PvE sorta. It's like pretty jank, but it's there. A tier 9 Dream Wars. My friend who was actually good at the game told me to pick a female Pegasus, so that's what I did. There's a 1000% XP, 100% bonus drop, 400% skill, like everything was insane. They also give away free Black Star weapons, which I think is like the best in the game. So the first thing you have to do in any quote-unquote MMORPG, we'll get to that later, is the classes. I decided to ban every single male character for zero reason. I also banned the characters I used to play back in the day, and after some thinking I landed on the Larn because the awakening weapon reminded me of Katarina from League of Legends. The character creator is gorgeous and still as good as I remember it, but I felt like I didn't really have time for all that, so I just joined another player's preset. I then picked Ancient Stone Chamber because the other two would be a bit too confusing for me as like a returning player. And then my adventure started as a seasonal character. Within 5 seconds of gameplay, I was swiftly reminded of how dogshit the questing is in this game. You just spam R with an insane APM and follow the arrow around. People say this game has a very high APM requirement on classes, but I feel like the questing system has probably the highest APM requirement out of anything in the game. The questing being this bad is actually a shame, in my opinion, because I would like to know the story of the game, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in this. But the amount of text they use is just too much, even with the recent revamp. So if you're one of the 4 BDO players, know the entire lore, please make a video series on YouTube about the lore. It's gonna pull numbers, trust me. Even though the questing was bad, I still decided to do a lot of the story because some rewards like the Pen, Black Star and other items were gated behind actually doing the story. I won't bore you with a lot in the early game, and we're just gonna skip to when I got level 58 and decided to ask my veteran friend for some help on what to do so I could make a game plan going forwards.
Get LVL 61. Do the Magnus questline. Graduate from season. Do the weekly boss aura quest. Work on your Jet Anna Crescent. Complete more seasonal characters for boss pieces. Grind infinite pot piece.
I started off with the Magnus questline to unlock one of the best features in the game, fast travel. And also, getting a free piece of pen boss gear. I've been told that the questline was terrible and annoying, but honestly, it was probably my favorite questing experience so far in this game. It might have been because I hadn't done that many other types of quests, or perchance, the light at the end of the tunnel being the rewards I mentioned earlier, but alas, the Magnus was also the start of my downfall. Quick rant incoming, sorry about this. So, for finishing the questline, you get to pick a free piece of pen boss gear. This is an insane amount of power increase to your overall account, and there's really absolutely no wrong choice whatsoever. Now I decided to pick the chest piece. I looked at both of them at a pen level and saw the item effects. Dim Tree gives a good amount of HP, and Red Nose gives HP recovery. How much? Doesn't say, no one knows, we'll never know. So I obviously picked the Dim Tree Spirit because it actually says how much it gives and it feels pretty good. Now if you're a veteran player, you'll know that this is a mistake, huge, massive. I just threw 2 billion, maybe 1.5 billion silver down the drain because of this very cool system that I've for sure been introduced to called Caphras levels. And Dim Tree for zero reason costs more. And you can call me idiot or stupid for not knowing this, But how am I supposed to know the difference in the Caphras cost of 2 pen items when I don't even know what the fuck these golden eggs do at this point in the game? I'm 3 to 4 days in. Why am I allowed to make this huge of a mistake? And I know what you're gonna say, Google it. But if I was to Google every single little thing in this game, the value pack that you get for free would have ran out before I ever left Value for the first time. And even when I Google things, I got hit with outdated information that makes it extremely hard to know if I should be following the information. Or other website hit me with straight up hieroglyphs like Jinbon 1 Crystal Ding Dong. Hello. All I asked was, how do I AFK fish in 2024? And you hit me with a fucking wizard spell, brother. I'm not actually that stupid, so after learning about my mistake, I decided to do some research for the rest of the pieces that I was going to be getting from the season rewards. So I already knew at this time that I wasn't going to main the LAN, and I read that 70% of the classes are playing damage reduction. So obviously I went Bex gloves and Eurogun shoes. There is simply no way that this could be a mistake. Uh-oh. It would appear that 90% of the classes I've created at this time are evasion classes. Anyway, my gameplay would consist of grind to level 60 at Blood Wolves to get both the pity pieces and also graduate my characters. I would then repeat this until I ran out of seasonal tickets, and at the end when I ran out of season tickets I would make 2 characters and tag them together and continue until I ran out of character slots. 3 days ago I got my final pity piece to finish off my potion, so that's mostly the PvE I've done. So you can correct me here if I'm wrong, but there are 3 main things that people do in this game, those being grinding, lifeskilling, and PvP. Let's start with the one that you're going to be spending probably 80% of your time doing, and the main reason I called this game an MMORPG earlier. So grinding in this game is pretty simple and follows the same loop. You kill monsters, get loot, upgrade your gear to kill stronger monsters, so you can get more loot and repeat. The combat in the game is hard carrying this system, in my opinion, because the monsters' AI, much like my father, is barely present. They go to where you were when you aggroed them, and after their recovery frames are finished, they move to your new position, making them feel extremely lifeless. This might just have been an issue with the spots I've been doing, because I'm pretty low end still. It might get better later on. However, I'm one of the people that quite enjoy this style of gameplay, of going in circle and killing thousands, millions of monsters. It feels very much like playing Diablo or PoE, which I've played at a decently high level. Grinding is also mostly a solo activity, and you don't really see other players, making it feel much more like a single player game, and not really that massively multiplayer online if you ask me. And the marketplace pretty much just feels like a vendor that pays more for the items that you grinded. The only real interaction I've had with other players at grind spots is people saying, sorry, I can realm swap, or my mining realm is ready, I'll go there. Or there's this other Nova that chased me around the map saying DFS, 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 DFS. I have no clue what that means, but he was spamming it. The only time I've actually been killed by another player was on the anonymous Archer servers that I went to because there was a server buff active which gave increased drop rate. He killed me in like 2 auto attacks, so I don't really know what he's doing at Polly's Forest. Like the open world PvP has definitely been toned down. Maybe it's because the spots are all over the place now. So I remember back in the day with the map being small, you would end up grinding over someone's rotation, or someone would duel you at like Desert Nagas or Sauciness Peel. Like people would come for you. So lifeskilling is currently my favorite activity to do in the game, and it's the main reason I have this amount of hours, which if you do the math, I would have had to play pretty much 24/7 for this entire month, which I obviously didn't do, otherwise my crystals would have broken IRL, and I'm 99% sure that you don't get aliens tiers in the real world. Normally I just let my character fish, or, you know, as I'm doing this video, I'm doing alchemy. Also, for transparency, these are my levels. Lifeskilling in this game just goes so deep, and I feel like I've barely touched the surface of what you can actually do with them. And it's for sure my favorite style of life skill or profession or whatever this means. I love how you can do pretty much any style of life skilling, from active, like gathering or hunting, to semi-AFK things like me sitting making this video while doing alchemy, to full AFK things like fishing or AFK horse training. With the life skilling system, I'm also quickly gonna put the Node and Worker Empire here. This is the coolest system I've seen in any MMO, and it's currently what I'm working to like increase my setup for. I want full artisan level 40 workers. That's my main goal currently. This system is probably one of my favorites in the game. I love this system. Last but not least, let's talk about the main reason people play this game, which is so PvP is not something I've done yet. I heard that you need pretty good gear to actually get into it, and I'm not really that interested in it yet. The only PvP I've done currently is the summer event, where I play some East Coast dog with a stick versus a team of freaky rats. And I gotta tell you, I'm probably top 10 dog with stick in the game. If you came here looking for PvP insight, that's about all I can really give you. There are a million other people you can watch for better explanation and videos on this topic. I will say, node wars and things like that do look pretty cool, but I've heard that the people are currently pretty mad at the system, and also it looks to me like there's a lot of desync, which is a bit of a turn off for me. So, the Pearl Shop. Okay. For some reason, this is the one thing in the game that BDO players love to lie about. They say stuff like, it's pay for convenience, or I'm paying to save time. Well, that's incredibly convenient. I just spent 20 bucks, and what do you look at that? I just got 1.1 billion silver. That's extremely convenient. Oh, yum yum. Oh, how very convenient. I spent 50 bucks, and this 10 completed juices up my character and gives me more silver per hour. The other one is, oh, I'm just paying to save time. Are you brain? Let's say you conveniently save your time by spending all your money. Oi oi oi! Editor here. I went on a 50-minute tangent about the Pearl Shop, so I'll leave most of that stuff out. Long story short, it's pay to win, but not that much. If it sounds like I'm being harsh, it's actually not really on the shop, it's mostly on the community that are like, I don't know, they're just being too secret about the shop or using little buzzwords. One thing I will say though is, I'm pretty surprised. Because I'd heard things like you need to spend 1,000 or even tens of thousands so you can be slightly competitive. But I honestly think that the cost to get 80 or maybe even 90% of the way there through the Pearl Shop is more than fine for an MMO. I think you can spend 80 or maybe $100 if you buy this $40 pack and this $10 pack, and then you wait for like another Heidel ball, and you buy another 40, another 50, that's 100. You will get extremely far. Like, you can get the campsite, you can get an outfit, you can get your mates, you can work a lodging storage, you can get everything you would ever really need with these, and then the rest is like fluff on top of that. If you think 100 is a lot, you don't have to spend it instantly. If you spend it over an entire year, you would have spent less than you would on like a Netflix subscription. And for me personally, I don't really mind paying for the optional, not optional value pack. Everyone for some reason says this is optional, this is completely mandatory. Don't even like listen. People throw out things like, oh, you can actually buy, if you spend your loyalties, you can spend 2,800 on a 1-day loyalty pack and then take your marketplace right there. I mean, yeah, sure, you can do that, but then also probably never spend loyalties on anything else in the game ever. Here's how much I spend on the game. So welcome to the game. F3, Pearl Shop. I currently have 3,220 pearls left. What I bought was the Black Spirit Pass for seasonal, and it gives you a lot of rewards. And then I really like more characters, so I bought 2 of those. And then I bought this new Adventurer Starter Pack. I bought it because it has the character slot and then a couple pets. And last thing I've bought is the full pet set life, because I really like Lifeskilling, and I heard the hedgehog is broken. It might look like a lot of pearls, but the way I buy my pearls is through these boxes. I still have 25 days to buy the new player ones if I really wanted to. It gives you 2 for the price of 1. And there were boxes for the Heidel ball. So I bought the 4,000 and the 1,000 pack, which is the same as 50 euros. I don't really think I need that much more. Like, sure, I might buy a pack, or I might buy this last character slot, for example, which I actually, you know what? I'll do that right here. Here you go. And then I might get this pet pack, but I don't really know. One thing I'm for sure getting is the campsite. I'm just waiting for a sale because that's a bit too much for me. Other than that, the only other items I might consider getting would be the outfits, like this one, or Autumn Brilliance, or like Twilight Prowler without the helmet. Alright, community. Honestly, the community inside the game feels extremely lackluster or just like not present at all. Usually the server chat is just guild recruit spams, one guy posting on one item he just got, or the occasional emote. World chat is completely banned. You should turn it off instantly when you open up the game. But if you look outside of the game at things like streams or content creators or community websites, that's where I think most of the community actually hangs out. It feels like a bit of a weird dynamic, and I struggle to like explain how the community actually exists in this game. Let's go over my concerns for the future. As a new player, I have my own login pass, which just showers me in rewards. You know, I get item collection scrolls, these insane crystals, loyalties, tier 3 fairy, and a 50% discount. Like, I get so many things thrown at me as a new player. However, I'm scared to use most of the items I've gotten, like the free value packs or the free Book of Old Moon and Vice of Belix, because they feel extremely good to use, but I don't understand if I should be saving them for later. And it also feels weird because I don't understand the normal amount of rewards I should be expecting for being a daily player. Like, I've heard in a lot of videos, oh, you get these all the times, they just hand them out for free. Most of the people talking about things like mates, they have like 30 mates, but they've played like over 80 or so, I don't really know how I should be thinking about that. Another issue I'm currently having is the game feels extremely event driven. Just now there was an event where you could grind cups for accessories, and these cups are 3 billion, 4 billion, 2 billion silver items. Now, one of the main draws for the game is how it's like it's a sandbox open, you can do whatever you want in the game. But not really though, because I feel extremely pushed into other kinds of gameplay. I just want a life skill currently, but if I'm life skilling, I'm missing out on 6 billion silver for free if I just kill mushrooms for like 20 hours. It's also the main reason I haven't done my adventure log or my quest, because all I can think of while doing my quest is I am missing out on an extreme amount of silver by not just grinding right now. Let's do a pros and cons list and see whether or not I would be continue playing the game going forwards. Alright, pros. The game has a lot of systems and there's probably something for everyone in this game. Unless you like, I don't know, PvE raiding with 10 people plus. You can do like dungeons, which feel a bit like raids, I've heard. But it's still a 5-man max, or I'm pretty sure it's a 5-man max. The PvE combat, like as a pilot of the class, feels nice and the visuals are very beautiful. The classes are all very unique and very different from other MMOs, and there's probably something for everyone that you could pick. Like, name another MMO that has like a fan woman. But if you say like, oh, actually, the wizard and witch are extremely similar, well, that's not my fault that you pick the staff-wielding mage and also the staff-wielding woman, and then you hit me with a surprise Pikachu face for 0 reason. I don't know how recent this is, but the new currency tab that saves you 95,000 inventory slots and also puts them neatly on with all the rewards shown is an excellent addition. Another thing is they've started merging items down, like they've unified traces and fruits. Who knows, they might do meat or blood at least, or like do farm meat and farm blood, and I don't know, exotic blood and exotic meat. They might do that in the future as well. But just, like, all of these are, from your point of view, you should be thinking this as saved storage space, which equals either more contribution points or more money. Another extremely big positive for me is the sandbox feel, with the caveat of there being, the 6 billion event going on. There's also everything that the Magnus unlocks. Fast travel and family-wide storage is insane quality of life. I just think they should remove Dimtry as an option personally. I don't really know why, but that's just a feeling I have. An honorable mention for pros, which is not really that much an in-game thing, but it's something from outside the game. Websites like garmoth.com are extremely helpful for like every player in the game. It's also probably the best looking fan site that I've seen for a video game like, I don't know, ever. One thing that I feel like doesn't actually get talked about enough that is a huge pro is the progression pass. This actually explains the game very nicely for you if you hover over some of these items or actually read these tooltips. A couple of things about the progression pass is I feel like it could be expanded a bit more. Add a couple more explanations or some more of these. And I also feel like it should work on the season servers. For some reason this does not work on season, and I was extremely confused while going through the game my first time. But if this pass was there while going through the game, it would actually help a lot. Oi, future me again. I forgot a couple things for pros. The character creation goes dummy hard. This shit is chef's kiss. The seasonal servers have also been a great addition, and if not for them I probably wouldn't be playing the game still. I didn't really touch on this at all, but the player housing goes crazy as well. There's also the tagging system, which even though it's a bit expensive, it's very good for people like me. They've added a bunch of quality of life things like the free pets you get from quests, and there's also one from like an adventure log, I think. There's also new boss mode, the Black Shrines, which is actually pretty... I don't know, this could be seen as a pro or a con. Only reason it could be a con though is because of how unintuitive it is, and the fights themselves are pretty janky. The final pro that I can think of is the in-game UI editor is actually very good. You can change pretty much everything and make your UI exactly how you want it to be. Cons, the amount of items in the game. This is something they are working on, so maybe it'll be better in the future. One thing specifically on items as well is the amount of tooltip on it. I think personally the item should just show what it does as like a baseline, and then you can hold maybe shift on the item and you would get, you know, the flavor text or the description. Sort of like a League of Legends tooltip. Another con is the Pearl Shop. Even though I said it wasn't really that bad earlier, I still feel like there's a lot of things that needs a lot of change in there. Like, why can you buy a boat skin if you don't own that specific boat? Or why can you buy a mythical DNA outfit if you don't own a mythical DNA but you own a DNA? It's very confusing. Also feel like they should make the free-to-play tent better because they just buffed the Pearl Shop tent yet again. Or they should give you a way to earn the good version of the tent. Like, let's say you've spent 500 million at the free-to-play camp. It should then be upgraded into the Pearl Shop version. But people that bought the pay-to-win tent might think, oh, this is like terrible for me. Like, why am I getting punished for buying it? So there should be some sort of compensation for the people that actually bought the tent. Like, I don't know, maybe give 70% of the pearls back or 80% of the pearls back to the people that bought the tent. Because they still did benefit a lot more from it than otherwise. Another con is going to be the FOMO / timed items. For some reason you get these boxes with scrolls or life skill tools, but when you open them, you have 15 days to use them. But for some reason it lasts forever if I never open the chest. But they feel extremely awful to get, because if I get them, I feel like I have to pause everything I'm doing. Like currently I'm doing alchemy, or what if I was out grinding? If I get these boxes, I feel like I need to stop everything I'm doing and use the tools or scrolls before they time out and I waste them. It's a bit of a low blow, but questing needs an extreme amount of work. I don't really know how to fix the questing, but everyone knows the questing is pretty dog shit. Alright, next up we have the community in-game, mostly the chats. I feel like there are too many different chats. Why does it cost energy to speak on the server? That's like the main reason I don't use the chat. One of the last cons is the tutorial is one of the worst I've ever seen. I feel like if you just read the progression pass and actually follow it through, it does an infinitely better job at actually explaining the game for a new player. Greetings, editor here again. I forgot a couple cons. I get these incredibly annoying mobile game looking pop-ups all over the place for the Pearl Shop. I personally would say that I'm pretty fast at picking up on UI things, but there are a lot of menus and a lot of them are very hidden, like the crystal or the lightstone setups. So here we are, 55,000 minutes later. What's the verdict? Did I actually enjoy my time over this month and will I continue playing the game? The answer is pretty simple and very easy for me. It's yes, but probably not as a main game. It feels more like a seasonal style of game for me, you know, if the current WoW patch is dead, or if I feel like I need a break from whatever I'm playing. BDO feels like the type of game that I can easily just pick back up and not feel like I've been left too far behind just because of how your items really just work later on. And with that, the video is over. If you liked the video, you can leave a like over what I'm supposed to be begging for. It did take like a decent amount of time to make this video, and I left out a lot of things, because otherwise this video would be a couple of hours long. So if there's things you feel like I missed, or other things you want me to talk about, leave them in the comments, and I might just make another video where I go over the things that people have asked me to go over. I didn't even get to talk about what my goals are going forward, where I'm even at in the game. I was also going to make a tier list of the classes I played, not on a strength scale, but how fun they were personally for me to play. While you're still here, the video is over. Go farm altar imps or whatever you're doing.